We're joined now by TinCaps reliever Colby Blueberg. Colby, thanks for the time. You had a taste of pitching here at Parkview Field towards the end of the 2014 season, but now here, your first full professional season. What have you thought of Parkview Field?
I mean, it's a great atmosphere. I really do love playing here. It's a lot of fun. You know, out of all the places that I've been in the Padres organization so far, Parkview Field definitely, for me, has been the top. You know, and I really enjoy playing here. The crowd gets into it. It makes you feel like you're really playing, you know, pro ball, and you know, playing with the guys. It just makes you want to play harder, and it's just a really cool atmosphere. I really enjoy it.
And you're here a bit away from family and friends from Carson City, Nevada. Now, people tend to think of Florida, California, Texas as the real baseball hotbeds, but you come from an area that's produced a lot of talent too, right?
Yeah, I mean, where I grew up in Carson City, went to high school there, and Matt Williams and Daryl Rasner and some other minor leaguers, you know, somewhat big names have come out of that area. That's just in Carson City. And then I went to UNR, which is in Nevada, Reno. And a lot of guys, you know, we had, I mean, I believe it or not, at least at one point in the major leagues, we had at least 16 former Wolfpack baseball players playing in the major leagues. And at the current time, I think that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And there's a lot of, you know, no one really expects it. Everyone thinks it's coming from California, but there, you know, up in northern Nevada, a lot of people take baseball pretty serious, believe it or not.
And you've got baseball in the blood. Your father, Jim, was a minor leaguer in the 80s, early 90s. What was it like growing up with a dad who was a former professional player?
It was a blessing in a way. You know, not many kids can say that they had a father that played professional baseball, and it's something that you want to do as well. And having him be there growing up as a kid, I wouldn't be where I am today without him. You know, he really molded who I was as a person and as a player, and it was kind of having that coach on the sidelines. Even though you have your coach on the field, he was always there to talk to me and, you know, get more on one-on-one kind of personal stuff when it came to, you know, instead of hearing it from a coach, you know, you hear kind of the main basis of what you need to do and whatnot, but your dad's also there on the sideline kind of more on a personal level to really help you with the emotions and all that kind of stuff when you're playing this game. So I do put a lot of credit to my father for where I am today, because he's helped me every step of the way.
And he's still in the game now as a scout with the New York Mets, but you would say that the baseball in your family really comes from your grandpa, right?
I mean, he likes to say it like that. It comes from that side of the family. He never really had the opportunity to play back in his day. You know, growing up, yeah, it was a different time. You know, he was more, I guess you could say, focused on, you know, making money and trying to take care of the family. And my father just played 2 years in JC. I mean, he might have played 1 year in high school, and he went out for his college team his freshman year. And, you know, being the big guy that he was, he's 6'3", at least, you know, 250, you know, and I didn't necessarily get that, but my brother did. But he just it came from that side of the family. But you know, my grandpa likes to take credit for it, and my dad got drafted out of a 2-year school, you know, and you know, he used to be catching bullpens from my dad back when my dad was playing pro ball. And my grandpa was, what, late 60s catching bullpens from my dad, who was probably 24, 25 at the time, you know, throwing heaters at him. So he can handle it now, you know. I could throw a baseball at him, he has no problem catching it, and he's at least 70, you know. So it's impressive.
And more importantly, Grandpa Jim really makes sure that your whole family stays tight-knit.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a very close family, and I take a lot of pride in that. You know, we grew up every Sundays after church going to our grandparents' house, you know, watching Sunday football, you know, having a football game out in the backyard, or, you know, going fishing. And it's just something that I've been raised with, is having a close family. It really helps me get through the tough times. You know, maybe some players don't really have that. And knowing that I can come in after an outing, whether it was good or bad, you know, I'm blown up with text messages, you know, not just from regular people or fans, it's from, you know, my family saying, hey, good job, or hey, it's all right, you'll get them next time. And it really helps me, you know, continue to push through this and grind through this when I'm, you know, things aren't going as my way. And I really appreciate that. And I love them every bit. And so, you know, I'm doing this for them, and I just want to continue to be the best for them, you know.
And you've had a great season with the TinCaps, pitching in the back end of the bullpen. That's a tough job, though, because like you said, it's not always going to go your way. Baseball is a game of failure. I think it was your high school coach you mentioned once had a bit of advice for you. What kind of skin do you have to be a closer?
My college coach, actually, Coach Lon, who actually coached Mark Pryor at one point when he was in college baseball. He's been around a long time. You know, he used to tell me that I have rhino skin, because he could say anything to me, or you know, feel like he could put me in any situation, and it's not going to get to me, you know, or get through me. I'm going to be able to handle it. And you know, doing this role in this pitching in the back of the bullpen, which I have been, you know, it takes a little bit of grit, you know, to be able to bear down when the times get tough, and you know, the games kind of come down the wire. You got to be able to, you know, get some moxie and really, you know, go after it and not be scared, because you know, I've come to learn that pitching scared is the best way of, you know, getting hurt. You know, if you're aggressive, you're going to be able to, you know, pound the strike zone. Hitters aren't going to be able to really dominate you if you have that kind of mentality. So, you know, pitching scared is something that I've had to learn to overcome, because don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that every time I go out there and I'm in that situation, it's not like, you know, you know, my back leg isn't shaking or anything like that. It is a little bit, but you learn to deal with it the more times you're put in that situation, and it gets easier, and you just know that, hey, I've been here before. Take a deep breath, just do what you've done 1,000 times, you know, and it definitely, because it may not always pan out the way you want to, but it usually does if, you know, the more you do it.
Well, with the rhino skin, the shades, looking good here in Fort Wayne. Colby, thanks for the time. Best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This has been a TinCaps production.